All right, so hello YouTube. Today we're going to be going over a beginner's guide to fishing, and I'm just going to be talking to you guys through all of the different aspects of fishing. This is not going to be a complete guide. I think there's just too many things in fishing to talk about, so maybe I'll make like another video for a complete guide. But this should be everything that a beginner in Stardew needs to know to get going with fishing. So the first thing that you need to know about fishing is that there are different fish in different seasons, in different weather, in different places. Like this is the ocean. You have the riverlands, the river at the town. You have the lake, like the mountain lake up above, basically different areas. And we're gonna go over all of that. And also time of day will depend as well. So literally, if you want, you could just look at the wiki and we can, show a picture of the wiki and it just has all the information there. Or you can use an image. Like I could go to Google and put in Stardew fishing guide. So this would be an overview of literally everything, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to go through all that because if you wanted to know all that, you can just look it up online. Okay. But we're just going over all the aspects of fishing that you need to understand to get started. So just know different areas like mountain, lake, ocean. The mines has a few special ones that only spawn there. There are fish that only spawn at certain times of day, certain times of year, certain weather, etc., etc. And you can look at the wiki to learn about all of those. Now, moving on. All right, so your bar size in Stardew is based on your level, not based on your fishing rod, which is some people might think that's the case, but it's not actually true. So we have all of the fishing rods here, and the bar size will be the same. It's based on my level. So my level right now is 6, so that's the bar size. However, there's one difference, which is the training rod, which can only catch basic fish, by the way. So you can't catch rare fish or like legendaries or something like that. And it sets your level to level 5. So in this case, it actually would hurt me because I'm level 6 right now. So you would not want to use a training rod unless you're basically just starting out and you're like level 0, 1, or 2. Now, another thing is I would recommend not using a training rod because you can only get basic fish and they can't be quality, which hurts you in a few different ways, which we'll go over. The only way I would use training rod is if you really need help because when you start the game, you have a small bar and you're having trouble catching fish. So the biggest tip I can give you for actually catching these fish is to just do short pulses. So get used to just trying to get the bar to hover. Like basically I'm just click. If I show you guys my mouse, I don't want to catch the fish. I'm trying to get it to hover here. I'm trying to like show you guys, but also not catch the fish. So here's me holding it in place. I'm just pulsing the thing. If you're on controller, it'd be the same thing, right? And you also have to be mindful of like that it bounces off the bottom too, right? So basically, you don't want to be frantically clicking. When I started the game, I was trying to like frantically click and I'd be like freaking out and I like had no control. You just want to try to evenly space it so you can get the bar to stay in one spot. That's going to be the easiest way. And then when it goes up, you just hold up and now you're up here. Let go down. Okay. Yeah. Basic of fishing. All right. So now the next thing we need to talk about is perfect catches. Because I didn't keep the bar on the fish the whole time, I did not get a perfect catch. And you might think like, okay, well, I don't care about perfect catch, but it's actually really, really important. The reason it's so important is because perfect catches give you a XP bonus, like multiplier by 2.4 multiplier, whatever, 2.4 times more XP if you get a perfect catch. And it also increases the quality of the fish. So if you were going to get a silver quality fish, you would get a gold quality fish. If you were going to get gold, you would get an iridium quality. So if I just hold down here, you see how it says perfect? I get 2.4 times on that, and it also will be higher quality. In this case, it wasn't because I'm using the training rod. And that is why you don't want to use the training rod if you can help it. Now, if you're trying to use the bamboo pole when you're level 0, level 1, and you can't get a perfect at all, yeah, you should probably use the training rod to start so you can get those perfect catches like we just talked about, so you get more XP. And you want XP because it's going to level your fishing. When you level your fishing, a bunch of good things happen. Like the thing we went over right now, your bar gets bigger, which makes fishing easier. Another thing that is entirely dependent on your fishing level is the cast distance. So if I have an iridium rod, it's not going to make my cast go further than, for example, a bamboo rod. It's going to be the same. It's based on your level and how far you are on this meter, right? So if you do it halfway, it's going to go half max. If you go all the way to max here, if I can get it max, then you're going to go as far as you can, right? So that's how far it went. My mouse is right now. For close to max, it's going to be just a little bit less. You're like, okay, well, why do I want to cast further? And you might have might be a bunch of reasons people will tell you why. Like, for example, oh, you need to cast over by this rock. That is a myth. The only thing that matters here is fishing zones. I actually made a little like TikTok video on this, which is actually super helpful, and it goes over fishing zones. But basically what you need to know, it depends on how far you are from shore. So right here is fishing zone 1, and then you have fishing zone 2 or 3, and then you have 5, and then it goes right here. If we cast too far, if we were cast all the way to here, that would be bad. And same goes for if I am max casting from here and I'm fishing, max cast isn't doing anything. That is the same exact thing as me going here and doing this little cast. They're the same. So all that matters is how far you are from shore. Okay, and what does it affect? So fishing zone affects the quality of the fish, right? So you get higher quality fish. It'll also increase the chances of hooking a more difficult fish, so a rare fish, a more expensive fish, a fish that gives more XP, that kind of thing. And also some treasure chest items have a requirement where you can only get those treasure chests that have certain items if you're at fishing zone level 5. And same thing, some legendary fish have certain zones. You can't catch them in like fishing zone 1, like right next to shore. It has to be further from shore. Okay, so that's going over fishing zone. We already went over cast distance, which literally is only affected by your level. Now, keep in mind, your level can be changed temporarily by eating something like trout soup or seafoam pudding or blah, blah, blah. And the highest level you can achieve is level 15. If you're at level 10 and then you eat seafoam pudding and you have cheese seasoning on it, and you also have a bobber that can help with your level 2. So all those things you get to level 15, which will allow you to cast farther as well. Next thing we're going to talk about is the time it takes for a fish to bite. And that's honestly one of the worst things when you're first starting out in Stardew. It takes forever. It takes anywhere between half a second to 30 seconds. And it's basically like a random number in between half a second and 30 seconds. That does mean you will never have to wait more than 30 seconds to get a hit, right? So you will always get within 30 seconds. However, this is significantly reduced by a few different things. The first thing is bubbles, and it's the biggest. It makes it 4 times faster. So, and that just affects the start and the minimum max amount of time. So between 0.6 to 30 seconds, now it's less for both ends. So on average, it's going to take 4 times less between each bite if you have bubbles. Another thing that also affects this and stacks with that is bait, which makes it 50% less time to catch, and wild bait is 62.5% less time to catch. So basically, all I'm telling you is if you're a beginner and you're starting, as soon as you can get a fiberglass rod, you want to do it, and you want to put bait on it, because you do that, it'll take half as long. So now your max time is 15 seconds for a bite. And then if you do find bubbles, it is very important to use that as well. Okay, next thing, we went over perfect catches, gives you 2.4 times XP multiplier. Treasure chests give you 2.2 times multiplier. So normally, if you do get a treasure chest, you're not going to get a perfect catch because you have to go out of your way to get the chest. So you'll get slightly less XP, but it's worth it because you get the items in the treasure chest. Now, in the rare case where you happen to have a treasure chest where you can also get a perfect, which does happen, sometimes if you get lucky. Oh, we got a crazy fish here. Oh, let me see it. So I got a chest. So we already are not getting the perfect, right? Because it's jumping all over the place. But imagine that the fish jumps up to the treasure chest. I follow it up there. And then I also, it just stays there the whole time. And I catch it with the chest. Then I would get a perfect catch plus chest, which is the best possible outcome because it stacks, both the multipliers stack. So you would essentially get around a 5 times amount of XP if that was the case. And you actually get 5 times XP if it's a legendary, so you get even more. So it's possible with like a crimson fish to get like 960 XP with the single catch if you happen to get a chest and perfect catch on a crimson fish, which is insane. That's basically 960 XP is like 960 XP would take you from level 0 if it was the first fish you caught, which obviously you're not going to get crimson fish first, but just for the idea of this, would take you from level 0 to halfway through level 3. So 3.5 levels just for that single catch. But yeah, basically, if you're starting, you want to get treasure chests because it gives you XP multiplier. You want to get perfect catches as well. That helps level faster as well. One little thing is that you can keep in mind is energy. It takes 8 energy for every cast. Even if you cast and then you don't catch anything, like you just go pull out immediately, that is costing energy each time. It costs 8. Once you get to level 10, it costs 7. Another cool little trick is you can angle your cast. So let's say there was bubbles right here and I'm casting and I can't get to those bubbles. What I can do is when I start my cast, I hold down my movement key because right now I'm moving around. But once you start casting, you can't move. So right now, if I hold down my left move, like the key to move left, then my cast is going to go left. Right? If I am looking this way and I hold up, then it's going to go up like that, or down. If I go like this, go down. So that's going to help you be able to get bubbles that you are having a hard time getting to. So next we have time, which is actually pretty much the most important thing. This is more of like, I care about this a lot when I'm playing the game because I'm trying to min-max the game. So if you're beginning, you might not care as much. But basically, the time only goes by, the clock only runs. It runs all the time unless you're in the minigame. So right now, I'm in this minigame. So you see the time is 11 to 10. I could sit here in this minigame and you could have so much trouble catching this fish, but as long as you end up catching it, right? That's good. And the time has been paused that entire time. So the time is only passing when you're in between. So if you're just sitting here fishing for a long time, then it's only going to be happening during this casting animation and then when you're sitting here waiting for the fish to bite. So the most important thing to be able to level up quickly, catch lots of fish, and make lots of money off fishing is how long you're sitting here waiting for the bite to actually happen. And so that's why it's so important to get bubbles and bait, basically. And there's also, once you bring in rod, there's also some bobbers that can help you as well, right? Like the dress spinner here, that gives you an increased bite chance as well. Increases your bite chance. Yeah, reducing the maximum delay before nibble by 7.5 seconds. That should basically answer all of your guys' questions. One last thing I will say is that you can avoid fishing once you get crab pots. And if you do that, just to give you an idea of how many crab pots it will take. Oh, there's bubbles here and they're gone. Crab pots, it takes 430 crab pots to get from 0 to 5, although you can't get crab pots when you're level 0. A total of 3,000 harvests on crab pots to get to level 10. So it can be done, but you would have to have a lot of crab pots and just make it a part of your daily routine. So there are definitely people that play this game that just don't like fishing at all. And so once they get crab pots unlocked, they go the crab pot profession. You definitely want to choose the one where it auto baits. And so you don't have to rebait every time. And just because whatever you get from the crab pots gives you the same amount of XP. It doesn't matter if it's junk or if it's a fish or whatever. So we'd have to get 3,000 total. So let's say you had 100 crab pots, which is a lot, and you're just gathering them every single day. Then it would take you one season 1 month or 30 days to get to max. And that's, of course, you'd already be probably like level 4 or 5 at that point once you have 100 crab pots. So it, you know, would take less time, but you get the idea. I think that basically is everything I want to talk about. There's actually a lot more we could talk about with fishing, so you can min-max in fishing. So maybe I'll make like a separate guide on min-maxing fishing. It basically is taking all of the things I told you in this video and then actually applying them in a way where you can min-max fishing. Hope you guys enjoy Stardew. Let me know if you have any questions. I will answer them in the comments about fishing, or if you guys have other videos, beginner guides you want to see. My plan is to do a beginner guide on farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and combat. Although combat, I mean, there is stuff to talk about with combat, but it might not be quite as long of a video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.